if you have gone through all the lessons that we have posted till now, if you have practiced just the way we have showed you, then the thing I just played should be somewhat familiar. Welcome to another episode of SItar Gurukul. This is Nishit Dey. On the last lesson, or the one just before that, we have just started the fundamentals of pulling meends on your sitar. Meends, as I have already explained, is one of the most commonly used, one of the most important phenomenons or techniques used in our kind of music. It is essentially the break-free movement from one note to another, commonly found in vocal music, that soon made its way in instrumental music. Today's practice is going to be a slightly more advanced variation of the last one fret meend system that you have already learned. Today we are going to introduce some speed to that practice. So as I can recall, and I'm sure you've been through that video, if you haven't, do check it out, that I suggested that practice on the fundamentals of meend, we were getting just slightly accustomed to all the notes, how they sound like, their original frequencies, something that sounds right. So when you were pulling, for example, on that very exercise, when you were pulling sa and re, I'm sure that you got to experience re like never before. You got to experience what exactly the re should sound like without having to play it on the fret, when you have to pull and kind of measure it out on your own, and you have to find out the perfect ingredients that make a beautiful re, such as that every note has its own individual characteristics. So without further ado, I am going to show you how I played whatever I played. Before that, I am going to tend to my friend, every musician's friend, the metronome that we discussed in the last lesson. So this I am going to play again at 40 BPM, and they're showing me 40 BPM, various results of it. Now I'm going to and there's my metronome. So what we are going to do is that we are going to play this circle of 4 sas and 3 res. So it's sa re sa re sa re sa. So sa re sa re sa re sa. So you have 4 sas, one in the beginning of each phrase. The phrases are composed of 2 notes. So sa and re will make one note, one phrase. So having that said, what we are going to do is sa re, and then sa re, and then one last set sa re, and ending it with sa. And then we are also going to play a chikari in between, which is also going to be on the metronome. Now, how do we play it on the metronome? I would normally suggest you to play double the speed on this 40 BPM. So we're going to be stroking 80 strokes in 40, but that will require some time, for example, for you. Till then, what we are going to do is we are going to try our best to keep ourselves on the metronome. So what we are going to do is we are going to follow the tick tick and place one stroke on every tick. So here goes. Now, before I do it further, here one of the most important things are, on the meend episode and also the second episode where I teach you how to hold and the seating position, the holding postures of the sitar. I told you that this specific little gap over here is probably one of the most important things of the holding position, the way we hold the sitar, is because when you hold it like this, I remember that I told you that you have to hold the fretboard as if you were holding a child's head, that you have to hold it like this, and this meend that you're taking has to come from your elbow strength and eventually your shoulder strength. So your shoulder is holding on to your wrist is pulling your hands over here, and it's not the fingers that are doing the job much, maybe just a little compensation for the adjustments, but mostly you're pulling through here. So it's almost like a fishing rod where you have the pivot up front, but you're pulling from way back. So not only is it's going to give you more magnitude, it is also going to give you a better grip. So that's what we want. These muscles on your fingers, they're rather small muscle groups and tend to get tired pretty easily. So it's very important that you learn very slow and steady, and the only way you can achieve this is if you go very slow and very steady. So you pull through like this, sa re sa re sa re, and then you change. So I'm going to do it one more time for you, but eventually I'm going to show you till ga. One more thing that I want to show you is that after re, it's going to be extremely difficult for you to keep both your fingers in one fret. So what I would recommend you to do for that is that you keep both your fingers on a single fret on sa and re. That's perfect. But then you start to use keep both of your fingers only to the frets that are relevant. So at the moment you're playing all the notes which are natural notes or shuddha notes as we call them. So you're also only going to place your fingers on the notes that you're going to use or which are relevant. If I want to explain further, here's what. So you play sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni, sa. So these are the way that you play sa, re, ga, ma at the moment. So if you're going to play ga, if you're going to pull a meend from ga, then I would recommend that you keep your index on re and not in the note which is essentially a komal ga in between, just because you're not using komal ga yet. And it's very important for both your fingers to be trained on how to act on different relevant frets. So even though it might seem to you that holding the komal ga with the index while you pull meends from the shuddha ga, even though yes, it makes perfect sense, so you get more leverage, but you can already do that. The point is to train yourself on something that it seems difficult. So that's a very important point. So coming back, one more demonstration. One more thing I want to point out, when you're playing on this exercise, you need to be able to hear that trail of sound. When you're leaving for re from sa, you want that trail to exist just for ear training. So of course you can play it on meends sounding like it was on fret. So but we want that trail, so we want it to be like that sound we want. It doesn't have to sound beautiful because you're not really learning music at the moment. You're learning how to play the sitar. So I would this trail that is eventually going to help your ear training. So you get to measure exactly where the re is. One more time. As you can hear, a micro adjusting. Micro adjustment there. And you go till sa, but when you reach the sa, you have to play two sets of that, one for the ascending, two for the descending. So you play and then chikari, and you play it one last time. Great. Then you return. And so on and so forth. So that's it for today's lesson. I hope you are enjoying these lessons, and I'm still waiting for your response and problems if any appear. They should. I'm very happy that I've already started to receive mails and messages and comments, and I look forward to more of these. I hope you have a great sitar journey. I hope these lessons are helping you out. Take care. Bye bye.